Everybody got their bookmark? Great. And what's our annual theme? Just love. So simple. And it's not just love, and I'll explain why later. It's just love. And so this month we are reading the book called Fierce Love by Reverend Jackie Lewis. And I'm also reading, because I just can't read one book. I always have to have many books. Anybody else like that? Multiple? Yep. Okay. Reading multiple books. I'm also reading the book, The Power. Getting prepared for Crystal leading the way in the 4-week class. And why do we do reading? Well, I do reading. It's a spiritual practice. Now, some people may not like to read. Of course, the nice thing these days is you have Audible, or you have many ways on the internet to also just listen to a book. And what it does is it expands our thinking, opens up to new possibilities, looking at new perspectives, because, life isn't just one layer deep. So when I read, it's the opportunity to change my mind and therefore to change my life. So today's lesson is love is your superpower. So I'm going to do a little exercise with you. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and imagine yourself as some kind of superhero character. And your superpower is fierce love. Fierce love. What are you wearing as your superhero character? What's your stance? What's your tools or accessories? What essence do you exude as the superhero of fierce love? And now name your superhero. Feel the essence of that superhero character. Okay, if you want to wiggle your hands and your toes to bring yourself back into the room and open your eyes. Would anybody like to share their name or description of their superhero? Yes.
Mine was the Good Witch Glenda.
Good Witch Glenda. In the bubble?
Yes, and she was the light of love.
The light of love. Beautiful. Yes, Andy.
Love Master.
Love Master. Love that.
My wore green with a red heart, and my something else was a bottle of bubbles.
A bottle of bubbles. I like that because the bubbles are sort of magical, right? Love that. And green with a red heart. I can see that superhero. Anybody else?
Mine was Butterfly.
Butterfly? Oh.
It's
Uh-huh.
And but a butterfly to me is just love all wrapped up into one, and it brings love to everybody. Everybody's just attracted to the butterfly, and
Yeah.
so I could just go around and just light on people and
Love it. So the butterfly and the wings, when butterflies flutter, it feels like they're just bringing the love. And so you see yourself just bringing the love wherever you go. And of course, butterflies for all of us are very symbolistic of transformation. So that's beautiful. Yeah. And it's okay. You may have your own personal superpower that you don't want to share. But I want you to get to know that character, because the fact that you imagined it, it's at your core. Because you couldn't imagine it if it was something outside of you. Now, love could be complicated to talk about. So it's a good thing we have all year long. I looked up the word love on the internet to say, I wonder if the dictionary could sort of like define better the different forms of love. And of course, love is both a noun and a verb. So the noun was an intense feeling of deep affection. And the verb was feel deep affection for. I was like, well, that's not very distinctive. And what it came down to in thinking about it is love is a noun. It's a thing. Love is a verb. It's a feeling and an action. And love is a cosmic force in the universe. That unconditional love, beyond the human love. The love that gives us the life that we breathe and live. Well, so if love is a thing and a feeling and a divine force, whoa, that's a lot to untangle. But the truth is, love is really all there is. And I know that sometimes your mind may be saying, sometimes that doesn't feel like that. So in our book, Fierce Love, Dr. Jackie says, I'm not referring to the sentimental love of romantic comedies, greetings, and greeting cards and pop music. No, I'm calling for a demanding, heart-transforming, fierce love. And as I said in my last lesson, that doesn't mean ferocious like it's going to eat you up. It means passionate and energetic form of love. Because love breaks through tribalism. Do we have a lot of tribalism in the news these days? Yeah, lots of labels. And that label means this is everything you believe. Not. She says, fierce love will help humans realize an inextricable and irrevocable connection with one another. Fierce love understands that the liberation, livelihood, and thriving of all people and the planet are tied together. Oneness. And you can try to push others away, but you're never going to get away because we are one. So the Global Centers for Spiritual Living has a vision that says a world that works for everyone. The world doesn't get great unless we all get together better. In the urgency of now, we must simply ask deep questions as we consider the survival and thriving of all people. And chapter 1 is, no surprise, love yourself unconditionally. The greatest love of all is loving yourself. It all starts here. So much healing could happen just by each of us learning to love ourselves more deeply. And I don't mean egotistically. I mean the ability to actually love yourself. You won't have to say it, brag about it. It will emanate from you like a light. Love is truly the greatest power in the universe. And from the book, Love, the Power, she says, love is an element, and though physically unseen, it is as real as air or water. It is an acting, living, moving force. It moves in waves and currents like those of the ocean. So whether it's a song, a person, an idea, an event, it is love that moves you in life. Love that draws you like waves in the ocean. Love lives in you, as you, through you. And love creates through you. Love gives life to you. And indeed, love created you. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says, love points the way. Ah, I love that. And the law makes the way possible. Like gravity, we use gravity to walk, run, drive. Love points the way and the natural laws of the universe. What's the natural laws of the universe? Well, it is done unto you as you believe. And sometimes we think we believe something, but how we really express ourselves in the world shows something different. If in childhood, your parents, teachers, friends said something to you that still you rehearse in your mind, but it's not your truth. It lived in the past. But what's your belief today? You know, when you're a little kid, everybody else is a superhero or an authority, right? They know more than you, so you tend to swallow what they tell you. And yet, working with a practitioner, we'll discover the things that perhaps people told you previously in your life that you know inside you is not true for you. But it does mean you have to take the time and have the willingness to hear the truth. The truth of how you're not loving yourself. The truth of how you may be restating a story of guilt or blame or again, unworthiness. And then you get to draw yourself back to, that may be a tape going on in my mind, but that doesn't have to be true here today. Because there is no place where love is not. It's here. The room is filled to the brim with love. Are you wide open to it, or is there a belief blocking you from that? So let me ask you, how much energy is in an atom? What happens when you split the atom? We get the atomic bomb, right? So how many atoms do you have living in you? Billions. Love is in all those atoms. Hence, you are a powerful force of love, both in substance and matter and in spirit. So why don't you feel love sometimes, or why does love hurt you sometimes? I hate to disappoint you, but I can't give you your specific answer. Because it's different for each of you. The answer is within you. And even if I did give you a specific answer, you might not really want to hear the truth about yourself. But if you discover it for yourself, it becomes something different. Because each of us walk our own path of self-discovery. Not that we can't walk with each other in discovering ourselves, but you must make your own discovery and I must make mine. And that's why we do spiritual practice together. To discover what we need to discover in our life. And we do have practitioners, and practitioners are trained to ask questions. It's actually listen, inquire, teach the real principles of truth. So let's say that you discover that you have been believing that you are unworthy. The practitioners will assist you in finding your way back to truth, declaring your truth, and then you get to work on embodying that truth that is already true within you. So one of the first places to look when you're not feeling loved or when you've been hurt by love is to look within ourselves. Now that's really hard to do. If you love somebody and for some reason they're rejecting you or hurting you, what do we tend to do? I want you to love me. And the question is, how are you loving yourself? Again, we learned young how to withhold love. And we don't know why that person is withholding their love. And maybe if they're a partner, they might be willing to work with that together. Or maybe they need to discover it on their own. Finding a safe place to process why is love being withheld. So much of our relationship issues are about shame and insecurity, self-loathing, and we need to learn to let go of that heaviness. And when we let go of that, we open our heart becomes lighter, and more love can come through. So in those times where people have hurt us, in those moments, we must ask ourselves, what can we do to love ourselves better? You know, it's unlimited. And if we asked ourselves the questions every time that we got hurt, again, it's exercising that heart muscle. Can I love myself another way, and another way, and another way, to soon mastering love? Of course, there may be those that have been abused, again, asking themselves, how may they love themselves better? And I know that it's a lot easier said than done, but finding help and finding a safe place that provides the love that each individual deserves. Which makes me immediately think about the pallet houses in Chico, who I think within a month, many of the homeless will have a place to go with running water, shower, laundry, electricity. Regardless of their behavior or who they are, they still deserve love. They still deserve love. And they may not be able to love themselves. This is a book by Father Gregory Boyle. He's an ordained Jesuit priest. He has something called the Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. You know what he does? Helps people get out of gangs. They come live with the community. They work in the community. And there are obviously a lot of beautiful gems, and what you learn about a lot of those that have joined gangs is, of course, they had no models for how to self-love. And so as adults trying to rediscover their own humanity, that they don't have to be perfect, there is an opportunity for them to make a choice, for each of us to make a choice in each moment, in each situation. And also in the book, Fierce Love, Jackie shares a lot of her pain and how she transforms and, is dedicating herself to fierce love. And again, she has podcasts and has a show on MSNBC. And basically, again, she is standing for fierce love. I recently heard of a husband-wife discussion that led to one of them saying, why can't you be nicer to me? And the other one was like, huh? Now that takes even love to be willing to have the conversation, to hear the expression that they are experiencing one another, and then after that, spending time determining what the answer may be and then changing behavior. That's a process. That's a process. And how can we allow and open up love along the way in the process? Jackie says, sometimes our stories of pain are bruises on our soul. But regardless of the specifics of our scars in each of us, we all need someone to walk with through the ring of fire that leads us to a new self-understanding. And I'll say a new self-understanding of our power of love. We all need a midwife to help us birth a new self out of the womb of truth. And that's what our practitioners want to do for you. Again, every month we have a practitioner on call to help you process a new you with a new belief and a new understanding of the truth of the power of love within you. And through all this, your job is to feel the feelings, learn the lessons, and let the heaviness go. Love is your superpower. So, throughout this week, next week, you're feeling down, something happens that disappoints you, pull out your hero, your superhero of love. On the bookmark, we have a book in September, October by Byron Katie, Loving What Is. She is a master of loving what is, because what is sometimes not pretty, not doesn't feel good, but loving what is can still deliver a message, a lesson, and a new way to view the situation with love. What's really fun is I chose this title, Love is Your Superpower, because Crystal gave me a t-shirt that says, prayer is your superpower. And then that night I picked up this book, and on page 83 is Finding Our Superpowers. I love when Spirit does that. I know that I'm in alignment. I know that I'm listening. I know that I am open when those synchronicities happen like that. So why are we here at Center for Spiritual Living Chico? Recently, the board all reminded ourselves of our mission. We're here to provide spiritual education, tools, and practices that uplifts hearts, expands minds, and transforms lives for a better world. Now, based on today's lesson, I would say we provide spiritual education, tools, and practices that uplift hearts through fierce love, through our superhero. We are here to help each of us love ourselves and to love each other more unconditionally, to be open to truth and to speak truthfully. You know, that takes courage. To be brave and say, where was I wrong? And that's where you can start determining the difference between the love of ego versus the divine love within you. Is you can ask yourself this question. It always stops me dead in my tracks. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be love? So I'll end with Eckhart Tolle has a saying where he says, nothing ever happened in the past that can prevent you from being present now. And I'm changing that a little bit to say, nothing ever happened in the past that can prevent you from loving right now. Love is your superpower. Namaste.